Welcome to the rugged coasts of the northern Pacific, where waves crash, kelp forests sway, and a small but mighty creature rules with fluff, charm, and a suspiciously high metabolism, the sea otter. These remarkable animals inhabit coastal waters from California to Alaska and across to Russia, always sticking close to kelp forests, which provide them with shelter, snacks, and occasionally a convenient place to anchor themselves like floating burritos. Sea otters are biological marvels wrapped in fur, and not just any fur, oh no. They possess the densest fur of any mammal on Earth, up to 1 million hairs per square inch. To put that in perspective, your head's entire forest of hair is basically a barren desert compared to a single square inch of otter. This lavish fur coat is not just for looks. Sea otters lack the blubber that most marine mammals rely on for warmth. Instead, they survive icy waters by constantly grooming, fluffing, and maintaining their fur to trap air and stay warm. Think of it as nature's most elaborate puffer jacket, except the jacket never comes off and requires non-stop upkeep. Now, let's shift our attention to the most devastatingly cute marine infants on Earth, sea otter pups. When a pup is born, it arrives wrapped in impossibly fluffy, buoyant baby fur. This special fur traps so much air that pups cannot sink even if they try. They float like fuzzy corks bobbing at the surface, sometimes flipping helplessly because buoyancy is a lifestyle. A newborn pup depends entirely on its mother, who nurses it for about 6 months and carries it everywhere, on her belly, through kelp forests, and across waves like a tiny squeaking backpack. During this time, mothers spend hours grooming the pup to keep its fur waterproof and warm. If mom wants to dive for food and needs both paws free, she simply leaves the pup floating safely on top of the water, where it stays put thanks to that hyper-buoyant baby fluff, nature's built-in water wing. Now, let's talk about food, because sea otters do a lot. To fuel their high metabolic rate and maintain all that glorious insulation, sea otters eat an astonishing 25 to 30% of their body weight every single day. Their menu includes clams, mussels, crabs, sea snails, and especially sea urchins, whose spiky defenses are no match for an otter armed with a favorite rock. Yes, sea otters are one of the few animals on Earth to use tools. They stash rocks under their armpits, biologically known as skin folds, but armpits sounds funnier, and use them like tiny underwater blacksmiths to hammer open hard-shelled prey. Imagine eating a giant seafood buffet daily just to avoid hypothermia. That's the otter lifestyle. Their dining habits aren't just adorable, they're ecologically essential. Sea otters are a keystone species, meaning their presence holds entire ecosystems together. By feasting on sea urchins, they prevent these spiky lawnmowers from devouring kelp forests. Without otters, urchins multiply, kelp disappears, and the whole marine neighborhood collapses like a poorly funded underwater HOA. Thanks to sea otters, kelp forests thrive, supporting countless species and even helping capture carbon from the atmosphere. So yes, sea otters are unknowingly fighting climate change between snacks. As for longevity, sea otters live about 10 to 15 years in the wild for males and up to around 15 to 20 years for females. The ladies consistently outlive the guys. This seems to be a recurring theme across many species, thanks to biology, better energy use, and perhaps a more refined sense of self-preservation. Despite their fierce appetite and sharp teeth, sea otters are profoundly social creatures. They gather in groups called rafts, sometimes dozens or hundreds strong. They are famously known to hold paws while drifting in the water, which keeps them from separating while they sleep. It's both an effective survival strategy and one of the greatest public relations moves in the animal kingdom. So as we leave the kelp forests behind, remember, sea otters are more than adorable faces and meme machines. They are ecosystem engineers, tool-wielding innovators, and fluffy survival experts wrapped in 1 million hairs per square inch. They crack shells, protect forests, and melt hearts, often all before lunchtime. In the grand tapestry of marine life, sea otters remind us that being small doesn't mean being insignificant. Sometimes it just means you're closer to the snacks.